Thank God for President Trump and the heroes at ICE for protecting us from these bloodthirsty fruit stand vendors spreading their dangerous pineapple chunks and mangoes with a squirt of lime all over the city. We are so grateful for what you have done.
That's Jimmy Kimmel, laying the sarcasm on thick as he points out the targets of the administration's latest efforts. He's joking, obviously, but that single line cuts right to the heart of the absurd, over-the-top narrative being pushed about cities like Los Angeles. Narrative of chaos and fear. A story that paints the city as a totalitarian hellscape, as they said.
Have a full house tonight, as we always do here at our studio in Hollywood, which might be surprising for those of you in other parts of the country who've been watching cable news and believe this city is some kind of totalitarian hellscape right now.
A hellscape. It's a story being told for a reason, and according to Kimmel, that reason is simple. It's a deliberate lie.
Intentionally inflaming and lying to make it seem like there's a war going on here. He wants there to be a war going on here, and he doesn't care who gets hurt in it. There's
a war in Los Angeles. Okay then, let's see the front lines. Let's see what happens when you send in federal agents dressed like they're about to raid a supervillain's lair.
Community members rush in to try to help a street vendor.
What you're doing is kidnapping!
As she's taken in by ICE.
Seriously,
And here we go. Full riot gear, flashbangs. It's like a Michael Bay movie suddenly broke out in the garment district. All this chaos you see? This isn't a city spontaneously imploding. This is a city reacting to this force showing up on its doorstep. Which brings us back to our original question. Who are these bloodthirsty enemies? The ones that required this whole show? Well, as it turns out, reality has a dark sense of humor.
It happened Monday as Selena Ramirez was selling tacos on the sidewalk outside this Home Depot in Ladera Heights.
10, guys that are all jacked up and armed, like taking away a woman who probably weighs 100 pounds. Like that already is, ridiculous.
According to the National Day Laborer Organizing Network, which has set up a GoFundMe to help Selena's partner and their 4-year-old son, the 26-year-old came to the U.S. 2 years ago hoping for a better life. LeBlanc says she was targeted simply because she's Latino.
Public enemy number one, a 26-year-old woman selling tacos. And look at the team they sent for her. Let's do a head count. That's 8 agents. 8. You'd think her tacos were made with stolen government secrets. An eyewitness even said the whole thing felt less like an arrest and more like abducting a woman off the street.
I have to say, I cannot believe what's going on. I knew it was going to be bad. I did not know it was going to be this bad. People who've lived here their whole lives, people who've been in this city longer than I have, the vast majority of whom have never done anything wrong, are being abducted, which is the correct word to use, by agents in masks, hiding their identities, grabbing people off the street and at work, sending people to detention centers.
So you see the pattern here, right? It's not about justice, it's about the show. The why is the oldest trick in the political playbook, misdirection. As Kimmel explains,
Trump wants it to seem like anarchy, so he goes around, our governor, and he calls in 4,000 troops from the National Guard and 700 active duty Marines. When we had the wildfires that devastated big chunks of our city, he did absolutely nothing. Now that we're in the middle of a non-emergency, send in the National Guard.
Mr. President, when is the last time you spoke with Governor Newsom?
A day ago. Called him up to tell him, got to do a better job. He's done a bad job, causing a lot of death and a lot of potential death. If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave him a little additional help, Los Angeles would be burning right now.
Oh, no, when it will be calm and sunny and 70 degrees, just like it is right now. What a hero. He's always saving our city from burning. Last time we were burning, back in January, you remember he had them turn on that great big faucet that put all the fires out.
They met with a very heavy force, and if they weren't, you would have that city right now would be on fire. It would be burning down. The rest of it, what's left over, because the other fire was started because they wouldn't allow water into LA. They wouldn't allow water into California because they had it all shifted out to the Pacific Ocean, and I turned it around.
Does anyone believe this? He might be starting to convince himself. That did not happen.
And this is where the jokes end. This is where Kimmel's most important point comes in.
So desperately wants to be the hero putting out fires. Putting out a fire you purposely start doesn't make you a firefighter. It makes you an arsonist with a hose. Okay?
And that is why the response from the public is so critical. When the person in charge is the arsonist, you can't fight the fire on his terms. That's why Kimmel's final point is the most important one.
It's our responsibility. Los Angelinos have been gathering to demonstrate, and with very few exceptions, peacefully demonstrate to voice their opposition to this disgusting and unnecessary abuse of power instigated by our mentally ill president, who is dead set on exacerbating this. He wants us to burn this city down. He wants that. He smiles when he sees that. That's why we have to do everything in our power to protest peacefully, trying to make us look like a bunch of savages. But here's the thing, Mr. President, no matter what you do, no matter how much chaos you try to create to distract us, it's never going to be enough to make us forget that your buddy Elon wrote this about you last week. And he has been very successful bumping that out of the news. Last week, it was all anyone was talking about, Elon versus Trump. Even the right-wing media was talking about it nonstop and taking it very hard.
Look, you ever watch two parents fight? That's kind of what I feel like I'm in the middle of right now.
I hate it when dad and dad fight.
I would prefer that mom and dad would just stop fighting.
I don't want to see my parents fighting.
They're still together. This is just a fight.
It's a spat, you know? I think it's fake.
They'll work it out eventually.
I'm hoping it's like a Ross and Rachel thing, that it's just a break.
Do we have to pick and choose which dad we want to live with? Yeah, no, I want to live with both of them.
Kimmel's frustration boils over into palpable anger when addressing the president's fabrications, especially the insulting claim that the protesters in his own city are nothing more than paid agitators.
Created this problem. He's putting the police and the military in danger. He's the one deporting children and their parents without any process. He's the one who has ICE agents outside immigration offices arresting the people who showed up to do the right thing and check in with the immigration office. This is not a problem we had. This is a problem he made and is intentionally doing everything he can to make it worse. He is purposefully pitting Americans against each other to create protest porn for Fox News. None of these doomsday scenarios the president and his minions keep imagining aloud it's not remotely true. There are no mobs, there's no violent insurrection. There are Americans who are upset, marching to protect their neighbors, no matter what this sick person says.
These are paid insurrectionists or agitators or troublemakers. You can call it whatever you want. But these are paid insurrectionists, and these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid troublemakers. These are paid troublemakers. But these are paid people in many cases. They get money. They're paid.
See, in that little mind, that sticky little brain covered with Aquanet, they would have to be paid, because why would anyone ever do anything without being paid? Right, Melania? I mean,
Kimmel finds this obsession with people being paid particularly revealing, and he has a pointed theory as to why the president's mind always jumps to that conclusion. A theory that hits very close to home. Just a quick heads up. All the clips and statements you saw here, they're drawn straight from public sources and news coverage, and we're always playing by the rules, especially YouTube's. So, if you enjoyed this breakdown, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.